Scotty Reed here with a Black Talk Radio News report, and we have a report coming out of New York City concerning the Mayor de Blasio, announcing the closure of Rikers Island. Rikers has a notorious history. We will get into a little bit of that history, but it has recently been in the news, especially since the release of the Khalif Browder story, the innocent young man, teenager, 16 years old, falsely accused of committing a crime, then spent 2 years in Rikers Island without ever being convicted of anything. Eventually, he did get out, and unfortunately, he ended up killing himself due to the psychological impact of being put into modern slavery for a crime that a person did not commit. So, but let's go ahead and give a listen to the excerpt of the press conference given by Mayor de Blasio, again announcing the closure of the infamous Rikers Island.
Will close the Rikers Island jail facility. It will take many years. It will take many tough decisions along the way, but it will happen. Speaker Mark Viverito and I have reached an agreement on how to proceed, and we look forward to working together in the years to come to make this a reality.
Okay, so that is the brief press conference given by Mayor de Blasio of New York City about closing the infamous Rikers Island. Now, let's get into a little bit of the history of Rikers Island. Rikers Island is named after Richard Riker. And so I pulled up some information on Richard Riker and the kidnapping club. It was actually a club he belonged to called the New York Kidnapping Club. I have some information from blackthen.com that I'm going to share with you. Rikers Island was named after Richard Riker, who was born in 1773, and he died in 1842. He is a former enslaver, meaning that he enslaved human beings in New York. And he later became a public official of New York, and he also participated in this New York kidnapping club. So this is the information that was posted by Susan over at blackthen.com. Rikers reportedly was a member of a New York kidnapping club. It was composed of local officials. These are public officials now, such as Tobias Budanot and Daniel D. Nash, who captured free blacks and turned them in for a reward. Now, you might say, turn them in for a reward. It wasn't actually turning them in for a reward, but selling them into slavery by claiming that they were escaped slaves, and then therefore they had some kind of scheme with some slave holders who would then, without documentation, claim that these are their escaped slaves. Black abolitionists, including David Ruggles in New York City, formed a vigilance committee to protect their children, something we need today. In addition, Ruggles and the committees arrested the slave catchers and published their names in black-owned abolitionist newspapers and pamphlets. A lawyer and eventual judge, Riker saw free blacks on the lowest social scale possible, according to historians. Of course, he is a racist. Now, this is one of the crimes against children that this man actually committed. When 7-year-old boy Henry Scott was seized as a fugitive slave from his classroom, the kidnappers forcibly brought the terrified child before Richard Riker, the magistrate of New York City. They claimed that the boy was property belonging to a white Virginian, Clara Haxall. Though they could not produce paperwork substantiating their wicked claim, instead of discharging the case, Riker, reputedly a former slaveholder, postponed the case and sentenced Henry to jail in the interim. Rikers Island, New York's main jail complex, was opened in 1932 in commemoration of his deeds, meaning his steadfast belief in white supremacy and practicing slavery. This story was written by Leslie Gist, and founder of the Gist of Freedom's Facebook page. You can find this. But yeah, you could Google this information on Richard Riker, as well as the New York Kidnapping Club. And that is what I usually say today, that they're still kidnapping people today. We still got the slave patrollers out there who are kidnapping kids from their communities and starting the process of putting them into modern day slavery and human trafficking as legalized by the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution following the Civil War. All right, this has been Scotty with a Black Talk Radio News Report. Support independent black media. Make a donation today to blacktalkmediaproject.org.